everybody, welcome back. If you are new here, welcome to my channel. Today's video, I am going to be starting part one of a few part series on a cruise countdown checklist, and it breaks down a checklist of things you should be doing for your cruise starting at about the 3-month period. We are 90 days out from our cruise. We will be sailing on the brand new Carnival Horizon. We're actually going to be sailing on its first American trip. It's doing a few, starting in April, transatlantic trips. And then it will be coming to New York on May 24th. And we will be taking that first sailing. It's a 4-day trip to Bermuda, and we're very excited about that. This trip is going to be me and my husband and my son. And they're actually going to be celebrating their birthdays because we leave the day after my husband's birthday and we come back the day before my son's birthday. So we're using that as a birthday trip. And my mother-in-law and sister-in-law are going as well. So let's get right into this 90-day checklist. There's actually a few things on the list that they said you should do 2 weeks after you actually booked your cruise, which is purchase travel insurance. If that's something that you want to do, we never buy the travel insurance, but I get why it is important. So if you're worried that something might happen, if you might have to cancel your trip, you might definitely want to look into travel insurance. I know each cruise company has their own, or you can purchase through different travel companies, or different insurance companies also offer you travel insurance. Another thing it says is to renew your passport or to apply for one. So we actually already have our passports. Keep them in a handy dandy safe Ziploc bag. And so we'll be using these to check in, except for my son, because his expires like a week before we go on our trip. So I have time to get him a new one, but I think we're just going to wait, because if you don't know about the passports when you're cruising, they're not mandatory. They are requested because, you know, you're going to another country. If something happens and you have to fly back home from that country, then yeah, of course you need a passport, or there's going to be some trouble. But because we're going on a cruise and we're leaving from an American port and returning to the same port, you can go with just your birth certificate and ID. So since we don't have any actual flying travel plan to another country anytime soon, we're just going to wait and get his passport later. But definitely keep track of your passports, keep track of the expiration. And okay, so now for the 90 days checklist, it says you should research entry requirements and apply for visas. We don't have to worry about that being American citizens, but if you are not an American citizen, then you might want to call the cruise line or check online to find out what it is you need to do to be able to travel. Book your flights. We live in Delaware, so luckily this time, since we're leaving from New York, we do not have to fly into any ports, but we are about 2.5 hours away. So my friend who is in charge of the group cruise, she's going to actually book a shuttle, and everybody will pay whatever the shuttle price is, and we'll go, you know, very early in the morning the day of the cruise and get on the ship that way, since we're so close. If we were flying if we had to fly to a port, we would definitely go the day before, because flying in, you just never know with flights if they get canceled and all that. So you definitely should fly in the day before, just to be safe. And also, if it's a new town or city that you're flying into, it's good to sightsee. Next, it says to book your pre and post travel hotel. Again, we won't have to do that this time, but yeah, you should definitely find out which hotel is more convenient for you for your trip. We like to stay at hotels that offer shuttle to the cruise port. That way we don't have to worry about renting a cab or renting a car or anything like that, paying for Uber. Some hotels, even if you drive to a port, some hotels offer you to park your car at their hotel for a cheaper price than what the cruise ports charge. So definitely look into what's the best option money wise and convenience, how far it is to get to and from the port. Next, it says to research shore excursions, destination information, that's a tongue twister, and private guides. We're going to Bermuda, which we're excited for because this is our first time going to Bermuda, so we definitely want to see the island. So right now I have been researching what's the best option for us to see the island for all three of us at the cheapest cost. So they have shore excursions through the cruise. We can always, book with them. It's a little more pricey, but I'm actually Googling different options that I can see what's on land once we get there. Or we might just wait till the day of, and once we get off the ship we can decide what we want to do, because there's always people at the ports from different companies that are willing to take you around the island and see the beaches or whatever it is that you want to do. So a lot of people offering different excursions. Next one is design and order group t-shirts or hats, bags, whatever you might want to do. I'm pretty sure she'll probably have a group t-shirt made up that we'll buy. If they don't want to wear a shirt, I will, just because I like to do that type of stuff. I like to decorate our door when we go on cruises, and since it's their birthday, I'm trying to figure out the best way I can embarrass my husband and my son on this cruise. So I'm looking at some options on how to decorate our door. I saw one thing online that I'm really thinking about, but you'll have to stay tuned for that one. When I finally decide, I'll come back and let you know what I'm gonna do. All right, and the last one for the 90-day checklist says to pay your final bill. Some cruises, depending on the length of the cruise, is when you have to pay. Our trip has to be paid for, I believe, 60 days before we travel. So we have to be paid in full by March 25th. And sometimes it's 90 days before you travel. So you need to look that up for your specific cruise. But definitely you want to make sure that you are paid in full. I do know sometimes they will give you an extension, but I think it only goes up to like a week, maybe 10 days. Don't quote me on that, but I remember a few years ago we had to get an extension, and I believe we got close to 10 days where they let us stretch it out just a little bit past the actual due date. So those are the tips for the 90-day get ready to travel. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was helpful to you. Let me know in the comments below. If you have any questions, I'm definitely not an expert, but I have been on several cruises and I follow a lot of the cruise community, so I might be able to answer your question. I will see you back here in about 30 days to see what's going on with the next checklist. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next video. We'll see you next time.